Get off the marketing roller coaster and get on the automated fast track to digitally market your brand everywhere now. Join podcast producer Tom Hazzard and Inc. columnist Tracy Hazzard as they share easy content building formulas and smart cut secrets proven to fuel hundreds of blogs, podcasts, and brands with bingeable original content. Join the conversation on how to get your message out to the world. Be original. Be heard. Promote with power and purpose. Feed your brand.
So I listen to a lot of startup video, right? Like people who are just starting their show for the first time. They've got their video running, they've got their audio going, and they're starting their shows and they're doing interviews and they're doing it for the first time. And I get to hear that. And in it, I'm seeing a pattern of some things that I want to point out to you that might be something for you to think about. First is that I know we all want to be in agreement. We really want to, in our normal conversation, we say things like, yeah, and yes, definitely. Like, we want to encourage our guest to continue the conversation, to keep going with what they're doing. The problem with doing that is if we're doing video, we have a flip going on of the video. So in other words, sometimes we have our videos side by side in what they call gallery view, and our video will be highlighted every time we say something. So if our guest is speaking and then we interject and say, yeah, then our video all of a sudden highlights and the eye is drawn across and away from our guest to us. If we're doing a speaker view, and lots of us do it, that's the format that I personally use. And when we do a speaker view, it means who's ever speaking at that time is getting highlighted. So if the person is speaking and all of a sudden I go, yes, then I will interject. And even though they're still speaking, you're looking at me at that moment. And then it goes back to them again, right? So it's kind of disruptive on the video. On the audio side of things, of course, if you're doing two-track recording and everything, it can get cut. And especially if you're a Podetize customer, we're doing all of that for you. And it's not as distracting in the audio version of it. But in the video version, it is. And so I highly recommend, and it is actually good podcasting practice for you to just be nodding and to take out those yeses and affirmations that we do when our guest is speaking, that if we truly have something to say, we need to have a more elaborate sentence, something that we're going to comment on and say, I absolutely agree with you, and I want you to dive a little bit deeper. Tell us about this. So now we're extending that conversation and we're giving that agreement, but we're also asking for more. That's a great way to do it and interject and bring more to the conversation. And now there's a good reason for you to have highlighted it. It's like you're encouraging that further conversation. But if it's just to say, yeah, and agree with them, stop doing that in an audible way, right? Just do it with the nods, do it with the encouragements that are there. And that way, visual encouragement, it's still being seen by your audience and it's still being seen by your guest, but it's not distracting in terms of featuring your video and changing the viewpoint of that and changing the focus off of your guest, which is something that I don't think you really want to do if you're really agreeing with them. You just want them to continue. So just that suggestion, it's a suggestion for those of you who might be doing video for the first time or combining your video and audio, or for those who are not editing your audio, like you're going just straight from your live streams or straight from your your interviews, doing straight from that. That's something you want to start cutting out and breaking your habit of doing. So hope that helps everyone. I'm Tracy Hazzard here at Feed Your Brand with any tips at any time. Send us your questions. Thanks.
For more tips, tactics, and strategies, visit us online at podetize.com or on social at Podetize. Thanks for exploring the power of podcasting and how to be seen, heard, found, and rewarded in our noisy digital world. Keep on podcasting.